Let's do it.
All right, welcome everyone to episode 9 of the Natty Talk podcast. 9. A very,
Yeah.
very special episode today with our biggest guest yet, Carlos from Golden Era Bookworm. So, someone who probably needs no introduction for anyone watching this. But just in case there's someone who doesn't know who you are, Carlos, could you maybe give us a brief introduction? Just let us know what you do, who you are, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so thanks, Dante. Thank you, Aidan, as well, for both of you for the invite.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm a scientist. I live in Switzerland. I'm a family man. And yeah, the YouTube channel, Golden Era Bookworm, is all about the history of, you could say, of bodybuilding, all the way from the beginning up to, I guess, the golden era. That's what it's about.
Yeah, so I'm sure most people have seen your channel, and I mean I've got to say, obviously it's been a big inspiration for my channel. So I do have to thank you for all the work that you've done, and you've been a good friend to me as well, and you've helped me a lot with the YouTube stuff and sharing knowledge about old school bodybuilding and all that good stuff. So I do owe you a debt, and I think before I also started making these kinds of videos, you were kind of the only one doing old school bodybuilding videos, at least on this sort of level, right? And now I feel like it's the two of us, and there's not really anyone else that's really dedicated to this sort of thing. No,
Yeah.
at least not on this kind of level that we're doing it on.
The AI channels trying to steal stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into that as well.
I wonder if that's ever happened to Carlos too.
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay,
we can get into it.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, Aidan just opened a whole can of worms, so we'll get straight into it. New topic. Okay, so basically what he's talking about is there was this channel. So I've had people stealing my videos for a while, and I'm sure this has happened to you as well at some point, Carlos. But basically people would just re-upload my videos and stuff. And it wasn't really bothering me until I spotted this one channel where his entire channel was dedicated to just copy pasting my videos, and the only difference was that he would change the audio track to an AI speaking in Portuguese.
So I want to say too, that text to speech was so bad. I don't even know if it was AI. I think it was just a bad text to speech.
I
just
put
it
and
on
I was
Google
Translate and
it was bad. So I wonder if you ever encountered that, Carlos, or no?
No, I mean, the closest thing that's ever come to that is people approaching me from different parts of the world wishing to start a YouTube channel where they translate my videos.
Oh, okay.
But nothing ever came of it.
Yeah. So I've had that as well, and that's totally reasonable, to reach out to someone and a business proposal or whatever. But this guy was literally just downloading my video, changing the audio track to Portuguese AI, the exact same video, uploading it with a Portuguese title, and that's it. And his entire channel, he had 20 videos. He was doing this for months, and the entire channel was just copy pasting my channel. He had 1,000 subscribers and 50,000 views on his channel. So what I did, actually, when I first saw it, it really pissed me off, and I thought okay, there's nothing I can do, whatever. But then I saw, there's this YouTube copyright claim thing. I had no experience with it, but I basically claimed 10 of his videos, which is the most that it allowed me to do in one claim. And that was last night. And by this morning, those 10 videos were all gone. And then I claimed the rest of his videos. And then 2 hours after I did that, his whole channel got deleted.
So every single video was every single video.
So he had 20 videos, and 17 of them were copies of mine, and he had 3 original videos, but they were also just AI with stock footage, it was just bullshit videos, And so his whole channel is just copy pasting my channel, and I don't know, it really pissed me off. So I did this content ID thing, and his channel is gone. The whole thing is just deleted off of YouTube right now. So
that's fantastic. I'm glad for you, because I don't think anyone has the right to do that. And I'm all for people approaching yourself or myself or whatever, where there are channels that get approached and people want to hear it in their own language. And sure, you can make up a business agreement, but that's just despicable when people just steal your work. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, and I mean, like, obviously I didn't go like take every picture that I use in my videos, but I mean, I spend a lot of time like crafting the story and doing the script and like getting the images together in an order, and that whole combination, that is mine. Like, I made that, you know?
And YouTube has a thing. Sorry to interrupt you, but if a video matches like a certain percentage and it's not changed in any way, like it doesn't matter what someone says, like you can strike that video.
That's how I found it, actually, because otherwise it's a Portuguese channel. I would have never found it. But the latest video that he uploaded, it came up on like my content ID thing. And so that's why I found it. And I went on his channel and I saw the channel's been uploading for months and they were all my videos. And I just got notified now. So yeah, that was pretty annoying, but it's gone. And now I know how to deal with it when this happens in the future. Because it's not the first time, but it was the most egregious example. So it was the first time like I took action on it. But yeah, anyway, I guess that's a pretty exciting first topic. But yeah, I just want to say, like, you know, it's not like we're trying to say that we have like a monopoly on like old school bodybuilding videos or anything. Like, I would love it if more people came and like talked about the kind of stuff that like Carlos and I talk about. And I'm sure Carlos would agree with me, you know, like this is such an interesting part of history that I would love it if more people came and made original content and, you know, remembered all of this stuff, but like just make your own freaking content, guys. Like, do your own research, you know, like Carlos and we've made videos on the same subject before, but they're completely different videos. You know, we're not just copy pasting each other. Like, he does his research, I do my research, and we come like, you know, to completely separate original videos. So if you want to get into this space, you know, do that. Go do your own stuff, and you know, we'd love to have you, you know, in the community or whatever, right?
Absolutely. There's different perspectives as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So on to that, Carlos, I wanted to ask you. So our channels are similar, but also very different. And I would say one of the major differences is that sort of I talk, like maybe I go into a bit more about like the biography and like sort of telling a story, and you're like more about like the methods, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I mean, I tend to cover. I know that your channel is very much into the biographical history of many of the athletes, especially you tend to, from what I've seen at least, you tend to concentrate on the bronze and silver era. I tend to concentrate on a much larger time frame in this history. I tend to not just go into the methods. I used to go a lot into the methods, but since I had a flood of interest from the old school legends to want to be interviewed, I've focused in the last couple of years more on interviewing and hearing their stories and recording their whatever they've got to say before they're gone. I mean, you know, I wish I could go back into the methods. I want to, because there's so much information there to share. But I would rather invest my time at this point in interviewing all these people as much as I can before they pass.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's like, your channel is pretty much one of the only places on YouTube where you can go and like actually listen to the voices of a lot of these people. So that's an excellent work you're doing there. Absolutely. So yeah, that was the other sort of difference there, is that, you know, my channel kind of has like a cutoff, right? Like, I'm like 50s and before, right? And I'm all about like this like bronze era and silver era, and obviously you're the golden era Bookworm, so you do the bronze era stuff and the silver era stuff, but you also do the golden era stuff. So what I wanted to ask you is, I know you're obviously a lifetime natural lifter, and you know, from what I see, you do sort of preach and promote the natural way, right? But at the same time, you do cover the golden era of bodybuilding, which obviously steroids were involved there. So I want to ask you, like, generally, what were your thoughts on steroids and sort of, you know, the history of steroids and bodybuilding? I know it's a huge topic, but, you know.
Yeah, that's a really complex question, and I'll tell you why. Here I'd like to share some own personal experiences. Like many natties that start off, like I did, like when I started and found out, firstly, Arnold was my hero in the teens, right? I'm talking late 80s, early 90s when I started bodybuilding. And I understand, no internet, just mags and books back then, right? And I found out about steroids during the late 90s, and I couldn't believe that my hero Arnold took steroids. Right? I was like, it was just terrible. But obviously, with time, people probably laugh at it right now. But I'm talking, 30 years ago, right? And at the time, just like a lot of young people that are naturals and are proud of being naturals, and the I guess the, how to put it, that it is pride. I think there's a lot of pride. There's a lot of honor involved there. I think there's a lot of stoic. What is it? What's the word? To be stoic, right? If you understand what I'm talking about, the ability to be stoic and to battle without the assistance of other things. Know that you did it yourself. And as a young man, I felt that was the way to do things. I also have to understand, sure, I'm covering both the golden era and the natural era, if you want to call it that, right? And I get a lot of people asking me, why do you do that if you're a natural lifter? And well, firstly, these guys, they did it when it was legal. So there was no morally, I guess, I should say morally, there wasn't any illegal activity going on there.
It definitely wasn't seen the same way it is today, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Now it's a different story, right? Sure, these guys were taking an advantage, and maybe one could question their morality about cheating there or not, but that's as far as you can go, right? There's also a certain love that I have for that, because it has to do with the fact that me as a child, they were my idols. I was completely naive of what was going on, right? There's also the fact that these guys, it was really the guys like Arnold, etc., that really brought this, the Iron Game to light, to the point where now we see all action heroes have got to be buff, and before Arnold and Sly and these guys and Lou, nobody did it. I mean, you'd have to go back to the 50s and 60s where Reg Park and Steve Reeves were famous, but it was still a period where, I mean, these guys were big, but nobody still knew what bodybuilding was.
No, Arnold put it on the map for sure.
Yeah, so there is certain reasons why I celebrate these people, and it's very easy to be righteous and to say black and white. And I'll tell you now about my own personal reasons. It's very easy to judge and say, this is a bodybuilder that uses steroids. They're no good. They're cheaters. They're this, they're that. You just blame them for the whole rotten world, right? But, I know many people that take steroids when I used to go to the gym. And so they're some of the nicest guys that I know, right? They'll do anything for you. In a more recent time where I've been very sick, I've had a lot of these bodybuilders help me out, right? And I'm not talking about providing me with anything, but just helping me out. They're genuinely good people. And I can't judge them purely on one factor, on one decision that they make. That is completely, for me, wrong to do, because none of us are perfect. Some of us have our own vices and things that we want to do, and other people don't agree with it. And that's the same with recreational steroid use. I don't judge these people. And I'll give you another reason. I've been suffering a lot from, I was going to actually talk about this on my channel, but I've been suffering from many different diseases. I don't want to stretch this out too long. But, hey, Robbie Robinson, who I've known for several years now, helped me out. And we all know that he took steroids. But he helped me out in a different way in giving me information about a certain peptide, which I'm going to talk about on the channel. And that basically got rid of 3 of my major diseases, right?
Wow.
Now that's pretty full on. I'm going to talk about it on the channel. I really want to do it with Robbie right in front of me. So I'm going to interview him. We're going to talk about this live. But, credit goes to where credit is due. And people like Robbie that helped me out, I can't thank them enough. Another guy who used to own the gym here in St. Gallen, he's 4-time national Swiss champ, Roger Tanner. I reached out to him recently about lower back pain and all this stuff. And although he was recommending certain anabolics, although at very at medicinal dosages, right? Because if you know about the history of steroids, things like dianabol and nandrolone were initially prescribed for patients that had muscle wasting diseases, or things like burn patient victims and needed to retain their muscle to maintain their metabolism. So these were actual medicines, and in some countries they still are. And he was telling me, for certain degenerative conditions, these are actual medicines, and you should try and speak to your doctor about it, and blah, blah, blah. This is a guy that uses steroids and is a bodybuilder, right? But he was willing to even give me some of this stuff. And although I haven't accepted, my point is who these people are at heart. And they're kind people. They're willing to help you when others are not, right? When others close the door at you. And so that's where I've more recently had a lot more, I will say it, I've had a lot more respect for some of these people, because not only are they trying to help you, but some of them are extremely knowledgeable. And I would dare say more knowledgeable than any old GP about even the medicinal use of steroids.
Oh, I bet. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, yeah.
Yeah, as I said, this is a very complex topic, and it's very easy to say, you use steroids, you're bad. But let's say this person is suffering from a degenerative disorder. What about a person with diabetes that has to use insulin? They're all anabolics. So where do you draw the line? Oh, only because they're taking it for medication? Well, okay, that's a good argument. But what about if a person is on TRT, has been depressed for the last 3 years, has lost his family, was suicidal, and is a man, mid-50s. TRT, and now a year on TRT, he's regained his weight, his confidence, he's not depressed anymore, he's found a new partner, his life's turned around, and he's got muscle. What does that make him? A cheat?
Yeah, is not Natty scum.
Yeah. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
And what about a steroid user who then goes to help other people? Is he mean? Is he evil? Is he scum, as you just put it?
Yeah.
I don't judge.
No, I think
it depends on it's just one part of someone's character, right? Like you can never look at one single thing and judge a whole person based on that. But it's like, it depends on how people show it and stuff. Like you got like Rich Piana, where you could just judge him for that one thing, but like he had a lot of he would motivate people, he would get people in the gym, and like his advice, not the best, but he wasn't telling people, hey, copy me, copy what I'm doing. He would tell people like, this stuff is killing me. And I mean, at his extent, it was, and it did. But for the people that are not, dying from it and stuff, they're not taking enough. They're not going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not a bad influence.
Black and white, as a lot of us seem to make it out to be. So I do appreciate you bringing that nuanced take to the channel here, because that was actually very interesting to listen to. Yeah, I think the biggest issue I have that I really can't forgive is when people just lie about it, and especially when they lie about it in order to manipulate people and sell products and whatever. Yeah. That really, really pisses me off, and I'm gonna speak out against that to no end. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, in general, someone taking steroids doesn't automatically make them a bad person. There's plenty of good people that do steroids, that do other drugs, other things which people could consider bad or immoral. As you say, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I know I've done things I regret doing or whatever, and it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means I'm a human. So yeah, definitely interesting take there. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Carlos, do you want to maybe whip out that trophy you've got behind you and
all right.
give us a little story on that, because I'm very curious.
No worries.
Or I don't know if it's big enough to move around. Don't move it.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I didn't know it.
Don't drop it.
On a roll up.
Don't drop it live
on a roll up for that purpose.
Oh my god.
I want to know how he got this too. That's my.
I'm sure there's a story coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Oh, beautiful.
Put it over here.
Wow. I've seen the person holding that trophy on photos, so that's just must be amazing to have that next to you. Wow, and it's it's big, eh?
It's in two pieces, so I can do this.
I see.
And for those people that don't know, it belonged to none other than Steve Reeves.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. How cool is that?
So,
what year was that?
46?
47.
Okay.
So
close.
That's the Mr. Pacific Coast trophy that Steve Reeves won. Right before, I think it was a couple of months, 2 or 3 months before he won the Mr. America, which is also coming to here.
Oh, you got that trophy as well.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
fantastic.
What happened was I've been collaborating with George Helmer for quite a long time now, who owns the rights to Steve Reeves, his name, his image, etc. And he was looking to sell Steve Reeves' trophies and many of his other personal items. And he wanted it to be somebody that would really appreciate it. And so I reached out to him. I initially bought the 1946 Mr. Pacific Coast that Steve Reeves won. Then I purchased the 1947 one. And now I'm going through a purchase with someone that bought the 47 Mr. America from Reeves and finalizing that purchase to have Steve Reeves's first 3 major trophies.
Wow.
The Sandow that he won for the Universe it belongs to the wrestling dude Vince McMahon,
and that's the original Sandow from the Great Competition. Now, if you got your hands on that, I would. That would be insane.
That's not going to happen.
Are these super pricey, or are they? You're getting pretty good deals on them.
No, they're pricey, but that's the other reason they're pretty good investments.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I get the America, I'm planning on an exhibition here in Switzerland, and the idea is that we're going to do some exhibitions for Steve Reeves, firstly, and also on the history of bodybuilding. I've already spoken to the museum here, and they're very, very interested in my collection.
Wow.
So that was the idea, to promote bodybuilding, to promote the history of fitness and physical culture. So I can only go up to 47. I can't get anything from the Universe or the Mr. World. Actually, I have the Mr. World medallion that Steve Reeves won, but the trophy right now is in the hands of, I think his name's from Scott York Fitness. He owns it. He's very, very much into Steve Reeves. His whole channel is based on Steve Reeves, right?
So he wants that as much as you.
Steve Reeves Hercules is the name of his YouTube channel. The Scott, he has the Mr. World trophy. And as I said, Vince McMahon owns the Sandow. So, yeah. But it's okay. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up with 3 of Reeves' major wins, and I'm happy with that.
Wow, that's incredible. And awesome. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think that's a great investment. I mean, that's a piece of bodybuilding history that's, totally unique and, never to be replicated. So, yeah, awesome. And I mean, Steve Reeves, like possibly the greatest bodybuilder to ever grace the face of the planet. So, to have several of his trophies, that's just incredible. So, yeah, I mean, what a privilege, guys. You people watching this podcast right now, you get to gaze not just at Carlos, but at Steve Reeves' original
both at the same time.
Look at that. Incredible. So, yeah, that's super cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. I wanted to ask you as well, Carlos, you are a very busy man. You have a job and you have a family, and you somehow, apart from, all the good you do with your collection and exhibitions you're working on, you also have a YouTube channel which you're uploading to very consistently. So how do you balance your time? How do you find time to, come on this podcast and speak to us? I have a dog, and I feel like that already has like derailed my YouTube career. So how do you do it, Carlos? Do you have some tips? Give us some wisdom for us young ones.
It really is just prioritization. Yes, I've got a job, and it's a very demanding job. I work 50 hours a week at a minimum.
Wow.
At the moment, I'm a laboratory doctor, which means that I'm not a medical doctor. So what I do is I work in the hospital, and I receive the let's say the parameters from a certain test of a patient, and I'm supposed to assess them and say whether they are plausible, as in medically plausible or not, because then they're going out to the doctor. I also have to kind of help with the diagnosis, so to speak, and suggest what it could be, right? What it could be related to. And then the doctor, judging on what he's assessed, symptoms, etc., conversations with his patient, his own experience, plus my input, can then tell the patient, okay, this is what's going on with you, or you've got this, or whatever, right? That is very demanding. And those weeks where I have to do that kind of work is more like 60 to 70 hours a week. So it's a killer. However, your question is, how do I manage all of this? Well, that takes most of the part of my day. I only create videos mainly on weekends. And what I tend to do is, firstly, I don't watch much TV at all. I keep it to maybe 1 or 2 movies on weekends, and I usually spend time with my kids doing that. Right? So I basically don't watch any series or anything like that. To me, it's a waste of time. If I'm going to be in front of a screen, I may as well be doing something constructive. And so I don't waste my time like that. My typical day is I get up. These days, I used to do yoga in the morning, and now I do the light dumbbell system from Sandow, because it just really gets me moving. And I go to work, and during the bus trip, I might be answering emails or working on a video on my laptop. When I get to work, I concentrate on work, and that's all I care about. When I leave, during my lunch breaks, I tend to do a 10 to 15 minute workout in the street gym we've got there. So mainly chin-ups and dips. And then I eat quickly, go back to work. Yeah, basically. I eat quickly, go back to work, finish my shift. And then if I have the energy, I will continue answering emails or work on a video. When I get home, have dinner, spend time with my family, and then usually at night I'm way too tired. So I just tend to relax and read a book or one of my mags or whatever. And it's mainly on weekends that I tend to do, an hour at the most, or 2, I would say even maximum 2 hours a day on YouTube, no more, because I still see it as a hobby. I've got my full-time job, which really is the money maker. YouTube is just a hobby still. And I tend to work out 3 or 4 times a week. So there'll be days where when I come home, I go straight to my underground gym that I've got downstairs. I do my workout for 40 minutes to an hour, and then have dinner with my kids and family, etc. So yeah, it's really prioritization. That's all I do. I don't watch TV. I told you, just watch a movie once or twice a week at the most. That's it.
When you said I don't waste my time, that cut deep, man. I think I'm gonna need like a band-aid after that one, because
I don't mean to insult or offend anybody, but I find that the older you get, the more you appreciate the time that you have, because you become more responsible. One thing, and this is not to say anything bad about anybody that's single or without a family, but when you are not responsible for other people in your life, you can afford to be a little bit more casual with your time. But me, I've got a family to support.
Yeah.
I have to be very, very stringent and very disciplined with my time, without a single second wasted.
Yeah.
And
it makes total sense. Yeah.
That's it. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I find myself like sucked into these like YouTube Shorts things where, you know, you just open the phone and then you just go on to the next one, the next one, the next one, before you know, like an hour is gone and you've done nothing. So
Don't do that.
yeah, I think
that's gotta be a different feeling, because having people that are dependent on you that you also love, like, you're not gonna mess around. You know, when you're by yourself, single, you know, and you don't even have a whole lot of self-love, it's like, what's your, you know, you're not wasting your time. It's not dependent on much. Like, if you waste your time, oh, okay, I guess I feel kind of crappy now, but like no one else is really like getting hit by that. You know, so if you have a bad day, then you feel maybe, you know what I mean? It affects other people. So keeps you, I guess,
it does.
going.
The energy you bring home is the energy that then radiates to everybody else.
To your kids, your wife, yeah.
You know, I've got to come home and I don't like complaining. So I tend to not say anything about work unless I'm asked, you know, and then I don't want my kids to be around, you know, because I don't want to affect them. You know, I want to be as positive as I can be. And, you know, I was single once too, but I think it's important. You guys, you know, you're young men. You may have partners, you may not. But for anyone out there that's a single young man, 20s, 30s, you know, I say that, and I've learned this from my own experience, that you should always strive to develop yourself. Never stop that in whatever it is that you have a passion for, wherein lies really your purpose of life, right? You should find your passion, and you should never stop developing yourself. For men, really, your peak in your life should be within mid-30s to about when you're 50. That really is your peak. And it's very important to say this, right? Yeah. Because as you get older, you're going to find that, especially if you're still single, that you might be 30 and you're going to be attracting still 20-year-old girls, 25-year-old girls. You'll be 35 and you'll be attracting 25-year-old girls. And the reason that happens is because biologically, women have a certain time frame where really when they start hitting the 30s, things start, you know, for them biologically, slowing down, right? So their peak, women's peak, is between 20 to 30, where a man's is a little bit older. And as a woman matures as well, and this is now more relationship advice.
Yeah, no, I like it.
As a woman matures, she's going to look for a man that is a true alpha. That's a true alpha. It's not the, you know, I'm a He-Man alpha. No. Sure, those 20-year-olds can get, you know, some sex-deprived 16-year-old girl.
It's like short term.
Yeah, it's just short-term gratification. But as a woman matures into her real biological age and it's ticking, she's going to start thinking, I really need to find myself a freaking based man, right? With experience, with a job. Do you think she's going to want to go out with a 20-year-old? Fuck no, right?
Yeah.
She wants a man that, hey, this man's going to get me a house. This man's got a good position. He's going to financially support me. He's got his mind together. He's going to emotionally and psychologically support me. And he's a potentially good father. So how do you get there? How do you get to that? Because that to me is real happiness, having a family, right? A family, having your own home where you are king of your castle and you have a good job that can support you and your loved ones for the rest of your life. That to me is truly the meaning of a man's life, right? How do you get there? You develop yourself and you never stop. You go for what you want and you become the best. I don't care if it's a freaking cleaner job. You own the cleaner job, right?
Yeah.
But be the best you can be at what you love. Get to the top.
Yeah.
When you get to the top, everybody's going to be at your feet for it. More, it's an term. It's just an expression, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You don't have to be so arrogant to say, you know, you're at my feet, but you know what I mean, right? You're going to be not the alpha that you know, heenies look up to. Now you're going to be a man's man, if you know what I mean. You're going to be an example to your family, and to a community. And this causes structure. A good family in a community affects the community, which creates a greater community, a greater state, a greater nation. That's what's missing in this world. I know I'm going to tangent here.
I agree with everything you're saying. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
No, that's beautiful, Carlos. I really like that you went on that tangent, and it actually takes us to something. I will just say I agree 100% with what you're saying, and I just want to touch on that. Just you saying that, I know 100% that will trigger certain people, and this is something that you and I have discussed already.
Honestly, that passed my mind, but it's like, it is what it is, man. Like, everything he's saying, it's not coming from like he's angry at like a certain political party or anything like that. Everything he's saying is just true. It's like,
but
those are values that we as humans look for, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And then obviously there's some women that want to stay single and some guys that want to stay single, and that's fine too. But we're saying as like a general, you know, most people want these things. Yes. You know, it's not to offend people.
No, it's not to offend people. I know that there's, you know, outliers in everything, right? And now I'm talking as a mathematician because I used to teach maths. But there's the general bell curve where most people fit in, and there's outliers. Okay,
for sure.
There's people that don't simply want to be within that bell curve, and that's completely fine. They don't have to agree. Statistics says that they don't anyway, so I'm not going to argue maths, right?
No, I love that. You sorry, go ahead. Don't want to derail you.
I'm just saying all of this because it comes back to your question. How do you manage that? Well, it's all about being disciplined. It's all about understanding your role as well. And my role right now is being a father. My role is being a protector. It's being an example. And someone also as an example in this community. And when you radiate that kind of positivity through structure and discipline, then it affects everybody around you. So that's why I'm talking about this. It's got a lot to do with the question you asked.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's beautiful. You got me hyped up, Carlos. I need to I need to kick my ass and get to work harder than
you're the only one that can kick your own ass. That's what I always say.
Absolutely. And it just reminded me because we had a conversation already sort of analogous to this, and it was regarding the video I did where I was talking about female bodybuilders and how taking testosterone turns women more masculine. And how that was just such a controversy, and I know you've also dealt with sort of similar stuff, when you touched on certain topics on your channel. So I just like that, you're not afraid to, speak the way you speak, because I suppose it's almost it's crazy, but it's almost difficult to just talk about sort of traditional values nowadays because you can just get canceled for it, these sort of things which so many people just see as absolutely evident and just completely normal parts of human existence, and which has been completely normal for the last however long, and then now suddenly millennia, human history, and then now suddenly the last 5 years it's you say that a man should take care of his family, and it's you're canceled, man.
What's wrong with that?
It's crazy. But yeah, I guess
I don't believe in the word canceled. I don't.
Yeah.
Anyone that says you're canceled, who the fuck are you to cancel me? Cancel me all your life. I'll keep posting,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something that I've noticed that whenever I talk about women, and I really try to include women on my channel, and it's not some
in a positive sense. Yeah, you're not talking down on them.
It's not some virtue signaling thing. It's I'm just just like I'm interested in men bodybuilding, I'm interested in women bodybuilding, right? And then as soon as I express my views there, I just get this vitriol in the comments where how dare you say that a woman using steroids becomes masculine?
You've also said in the past that when men abuse steroids, it's a freaky, undesirable look. You're only saying the same thing about women. You're not that's not specific to women. You're saying those drugs cause freaky, undesirable physiques. Absolutely. You're not saying only when women do it. So I don't know why they made it seem like you were specifically attacking women, because I know you weren't.
Yeah, probably they just don't have the context.
They would just want to be mad at you.
Care enough to
They have some. I would say that these people, whoever's complaining, anybody that complains about something and doesn't see what you're saying with, or take it with benefit of a doubt, or with a, you know, with positivity, is because they're already negative. They're already negative about the topic. They're already sensitive about it. Be it jealousy, be it anger through their own life. They're going to take anything you say, or most things that you say, in a negative light. Yeah. And that goes with everybody else around them. But that's why these people who tend to be very toxic, I think you should just ignore them, because they want to be heard. You know, they want to be heard in their own life. They want to be heard online and cause a stir. That way they feel better about themselves. And they probably feel better about their own opinion, which is just that, their own.
Yeah, it's like the only thing they have going for them, you know?
Pretty much. So
they're just like scouting the internet, looking for somewhere where they can like, I'm angry, I'm offended, you know? Yeah.
Well, you're offended? Freaking go lift. Yeah. Stop getting offended.
Get on with it.
That's what I do when I'm mad too. I go get it out.
But
yeah. Okay.
No, but I mean, I would hope that those people have someone that they can talk to about it, because it is good to talk about your feelings on stuff. But it's like, it's not that we're obligated to listen to your feelings. Like, you have the right to say them, but you know, we can just ignore it, and you can ignore us too. You can ignore the video Natty Life posted. Like, you don't have to engage with something you don't like. So
yeah, absolutely. You can like block people on YouTube.
No one's putting a gun to their head to watch the freaking video. That's what I was telling you. Know, you want to express your feelings, go for it, but don't expect me to freaking agree with your opinion. You know, that's complete entitlement. So, like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great topic. Yeah. Carlos, while we have you, I know you're a busy man. You might have to hop off soon, but I wanted to ask you for sure about your work with Netflix recently on the Arnold series. Could you maybe give us a quick breakdown on how that was, how that came to be, and all that?
Yeah. So what happened was, as you know, I started the channel, well, you may not have, 2017. It's been 6 years. And back then, I was already getting contacts from film industries, namely Alex Ardenti, and I helped him with 2 of his doco movies. The first one being Subs the Movie, the second one being Axis Gym, the gym culture. And right after that, I had started an Arnold the Early Years playlist, right? Because I've got a collection of German magazines which shows Arnold's very first contest from when he was like, I don't know, 15 or 16, right? And I started the Arnold the Early Years playlist. And some producers from Hollywood got in touch with me, and I was like, holy shit. And they're telling me, we want to, one of the girls, right, she must be way younger than me, in her 30s or something. She says, I didn't know that Arnold was a bodybuilder. You know?
Oh my God.
And yeah, exactly. You can imagine this, right? I only thought he was a famous actor who became a politician. And I recently found out that he was a champion bodybuilder. And so we started looking online and we came across your playlist. And we thought it was a fascinating topic to do a series on. So we basically want to use your playlist to do some research and to base some of the series on your documentaries, on your videos. I was like, oh, crap, man, this is Netflix. They want to do a series based on my freaking playlist on Arnold, right?
Yeah, so that's insane.
It was just freaking awesome. Mind-blowing. And we set up a meeting, and I set one up with the main producer and the other people that were involved. And they had told me, bring your best. So, you know, your best mags, all your best information on Arnold. So I had some of his booklets, one of his original signatures from the 66 or 67 universe, some German mags that showed him as a teenager, and they were just blown away. They said, all right, we need you for this series. And I was like, all right, awesome. And so this was many years ago.
Wow.
And I was, it was actually in preparation for his 75th birthday. It should have aired a year ago, right? And I've had to actually keep quiet for 2 or 3 years, actually longer than this, for maybe 4 or 5 years, actually. about this whole project.
Wow.
And because I was working on it for the first couple of years, and then I basically had to just shut up and not say anything. And I kept asking, when is it coming out? When isn't it coming out? And I always say, well, it's due to release for his 75th birthday. That was summer of last year. And it took a really long time for it to finally air. But that's how it kind of happened. They'd watched my channel, they approached me, and I had to supply photos and articles, video footage, and because I had I was also a translator for some of their conversations between themselves and Germany or Austria. I was a liaison as well for them regarding licensing of video footage or photos that were in Austria or Germany. There was quite a lot of
yeah, you've got a lot of connections, right? That very useful.
But yeah, again, all of that was mainly done on weekends, and I just slowly plodded along with that. Whenever I had time, I would, and it did affect the channel, I'll say, because as I said, I only spend an hour or two on a weekend, and for that reason, I actually stopped doing a lot of really good content, and I would do some kind of, a quick review where I just put my phone over a book or something, and that's how I kept the channel alive, right? During this time.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but I really wanted to be a part of the project, so I really did dedicate several months of, a weekend here, a weekend there of work on it, and eventually it came together. So it was a pretty awesome experience.
Wow, that's super cool. Yeah, I've actually been watching the series. I have to watch the last episode still, so I watched the first two. Yeah, and it's really cool. So cool to hear that. Actually, YouTube is what brought you this opportunity in the first place, right? It wasn't even that you knew someone or whatever. They just found you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, super cool.
I think that's the power of YouTube. Like, as my parents say, if they don't know something, they just look up on YouTube, and that's what it is nowadays.
Yeah.
You can find anything.
You were the guy.
And going back to you being the only guy doing this sort of thing, like, if someone is looking up, detailed videos about Arnold, you're what came up,
Well, that's the thing, and this goes back to what I said earlier. Finding your passion, and I think the internet has really allowed that to happen for many people. It doesn't matter what it is. I think if you firstly are well versed in the topic that you enjoy, you're knowledgeable, plus you share that passion and you can express that, people are emotional and they're very sensitive to that. People are sensitive to positivity. If that positivity comes out, whether it's in writing or in a video format, people are immediately that are into that topic, they're going to get drawn in. And that's the power, I think, of the internet. At least it's positivity, right? In that not only is it a vehicle for information that we all would have loved to have, I would have loved to have, 20, 30 years ago. But, we're at a time where information is being spread so quickly, and really it can be a very positive thing for the world and for anybody that wishes to, follow their dreams. This is the time for that. Many people didn't have this opportunity 20, 30 years ago. We talk about bodybuilders, you and I in our history channels, and we're talking about the history of bodybuilding. How many of these bodybuilders would have loved to have a YouTube channel? Most of these guys died poor or just were forgotten, and we're bringing them back to life somehow, right? With interviews and stuff. But in all honesty, guys like you and I, anyone with a YouTube channel probably has a better earnings than these guys ever did.
That's wild.
Yeah,
it's the truth. And back then, people did whatever it was they were passionate about without a thought of money. They just simply loved it, right? But now you have the opportunity to follow your dream and make money out of it. That's utopia, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many opportunities now which didn't exist before, and I mean just to do it all from like the comfort of your own home, like working from home, that didn't even unless you were like maybe a writer or something, like that was the only thing you could do from home, right? Other than that, or like a painter. But now there's like so many things that you can do. Just literally all you need is like one of these. You got one of these, like you're good to go. So that and a bit of passion, right? A bit of passion, a bit of willingness to work and learn, and you can really make a living doing whatever you want. So that's beautiful. And it is really cool that you interview a lot of these old school bodybuilders. I remember watching listening to the Marvin Eder interviews when I was preparing my video on Marvin Eder, and I think he was like possibly the longest living or like the most recently dying silver era bodybuilder, right? Like he just died last year, no? Or was it this year?
No, last year I believe. He passed away. There was others actually who I never got to interview. Lou Denny, who was the second bodybuilder to place Hercules after Steve Reeves, who actually became an opera singer after bodybuilding, a very famous opera singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can look him up. His voice is unbelievable. And I don't know of others, to be honest, but there are some that are still around. I actually interviewed recently a man called Ed Ainsbrook from England, who competed in a 1953 Mr. Universe, which Bill Pearl won, but one of the contestants there was Sean Connery, and he was friends with Sean Connery, right?
Interesting.
And so that's coming up on the channel. He's still alive. He's 90, right?
Wow.
And he showed me some amazing photos of him when he was 70. I mean, this guy's diced, but he's done bodybuilding for longevity all his life. I was like, man, you look amazing for 70, Of course, 20 years have passed, but he's still bodybuilding with what he can do. But he's a great example of longevity. So there are still some of these old timers around, especially those from the silver era, which mostly, as we know, were at best experimenting, but most of them had no ideas what steroids were, and they're still alive. They're still doing pretty well.
Yeah, and the other one is Leroy Colbert, right? He was alive until like 2014 or something like that.
He was doing a lot of videos on that that Yorkie Fitness guy's channel.
Yeah,
they're really cool to see. He busts out all his pictures. Like when he was like 13, he already had like 17-inch arms or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy stuff. Anyone who says he's not natural, I just point them to that video. I go, bro, when he was 12, he had a physique. So probably natural.
Yeah. I don't think you could go to the doctor and say, I want some tests.
At 12, yeah, they won't do that.
Yeah, but he's like the only one that I can think of, at least, that like actually had like a real YouTube presence. Not just like a random interview or whatever, but like he was actually on YouTube, like pumping out content and making videos, like it's a total like an unknown gem on YouTube, in my opinion. All this content, all the hours and hours of just Leroy Colbert just talking on YouTube, like almost no one knows about it. Like it's not like the videos have a lot of views. Some of it, like they have a couple thousand views, and it's like one of the silver era greats just like on here on YouTube, like dropping wisdom. The channel isn't even under his name and stuff, so maybe or maybe people just don't know about him or whatever. But like, what a privilege to have that, So anyone listening here, go look him up on YouTube and go watch some of those videos, because it's a rare to get a such a close glimpse into silver era bodybuilding, and he really does give like solid advice even in his old age and stuff.
Yeah, he's a real legend.
Yeah,
and as you said, I think that the reason why he did that, from what I understand, is because after I guess he retired from bodybuilding. He never stopped bodybuilding, but he was always a person that shared information. He had opened his health and food supplement chain of stores, and that really had him sharing information. When he found out about YouTube, he simply extended what he was already doing. Most other bodybuilders, I just told you, Lou Denny became an opera singer, Reg Park, actor, and then I guess
Either was a plumber.
Either a plumber, Reeves, actor, then horse rancher, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys tend to have private life, right? Again, they weren't born in this technology time where they had to self-promote, right? And neither did the golden era guys. Most golden era guys are the same. You only see self-promotion nowadays in this generation, right? Because they're aware of social media and its power. And those guys just tend to, you know, be laid back and kind of keep to themselves. But Leroy Colbert was always more or less a guy that was always sharing information. So for him, this was simply an extension of what he was doing. But I agree. I mean, freaking goldmine of information. We're lucky that he did that. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I guess to give you one more question, I know you will have to hop off soon. So what do you think of modern bodybuilding? What do you think of these mass monsters? What do you think of the direction it's going, of like people dropping dead in their 20s and 30s from steroid abuse? Does this sadden you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like I used to be the guy that used to go, "Oh, you're on roids. You're no one. You're a cheat." You know? But as I said, nowadays I'm more like, you know, I've met some of these guys. I met Cedric McMillan. I met Sean Roden. Believe it or not, both of them, and it was freaking ironic because they both passed away fairly close to each other.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, Roden was a bit more reserved, right, when I met him. Although he was trying to, they came to Australia, and they came to the city, right? Sydney's a cosmopolitan city, but when they told me that they went out west, and they were just flooded with all the bodybuilders, because, you know, these bodybuilders, they're not exactly cultured people, right? So when they went out west to where the ghettos are, man, they were heroes, right? When they went to the city and they went to one of the most posh suburbs in a shopping center where there's a supplement store, there was no line, no nothing. And I walk in and there's these two freaking giants. I'm like, God, Cedric, wow, Roden, you know? And I'm getting their signatures, chatting mainly to Cedric. And I told Sean, sorry, Sean, I'm a fan of Cedric. I told him in his face and he's like, oh man, he just kind of sits back down. And I felt sorry for him. But I was talking to Cedric, and what a nice guy. You know, he's a father, or he was a father. And, you know, I went over to Sean, and I felt something like, you know, when I saw these guys, I mean, this is an awe, you know, inspiring moment when you see the size of these people. They're just inhuman, right? But then I had a closer look. When you get close to them, their eyes, you know, sorry, I hate to say this, but they're all red. And I'm assuming because of the blood pressure. Their skin is not glowing, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like got a gray tinge to it, which just really shows a lack of vitality, right? Mm. And the way they carry themselves, I mean, we're talking, you know, 250 plus to 300 pounds. These guys are in the off season. They're huge and bulking, right?
How close did you meet them to their death? Was it a few years?
It was several years ago. Okay. It was when I was still living in Australia. I would say 2014 or 2015. So almost 10 years ago. And but yeah, as incredible as they are, and to see them in real life, you know, it was just really sad, because I'd seen bodybuilders, as I said, when I started training in the late 80s and early 90s, and you can see that the size was significantly smaller. These guys were more into aesthetics, and sure, you could tell that they were losing. But now, I mean, these guys I have no idea on how much. And it is sad. I don't judge them. They have their reason that they do these things, be it that it's the only thing that they know. They're chasing success just like everybody else. Or like Cedric, they've got a family and that's all they know, you know, and they're trying to provide. And they got to go that extra mile just to win, you know. So I feel sad for them. I really do. It's not entirely their fault either. You know, you got to understand that this phenomenon came about and it could have been rejected, or it could have been celebrated. Unfortunately, it was celebrated. And it was celebrated to a point where it is still being celebrated. And it is those people that celebrate it that are truly the ones that are at least partly to blame.
Yeah.
Because if that's what is expected, then sure, there will be some people that will go that extra mile to be successful. You know, sure, they have the passion, and you know, some people go, "I've got the passion, but I won't take it that far," and others say, "Well, I'll step forward." You know, and again, I'm not here to judge, but I will judge those that judge the shows.
Yeah,
you know, they don't give a shit, and that's what I hate.
They kind of push it further.
Yeah,
because in a lot of those shows, the guys that win don't even look aesthetic; they just look bigger than the other guy, and then that's just because
the ones,
more drugs.
They're the ones that are to blame, you know.
Yeah.
And if there was a way to prevent that, and I'm pretty sure most bodybuilders, you can't tell me that you feel good when you're that big, when you're falling, you can't freaking breathe, where you got to stuff your face with freaking 10,000 calories a day. You can't tell me that's good, but you can't breathe. For God's sake, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they have like sleep apnea because they're so big.
Yeah. It's the same as being morbidly obese to an extent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same kind of symptoms.
You know what I actually call it? And I've never said this, I think, out on social media. But I call it drug-induced muscular obesity. That's what I call it.
Yeah, right? That's accurate. Yeah.
You heard
because it is drug-induced, and it's not a kind of obesity due to being overweight by lifestyle and body fat. It's a muscular obesity. It's a gigantism, chemically induced gigantism, if you want to call it.
A good way to put it.
Whatever, right? But it can't be healthy.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a reason these guys, they don't make it to 80 and 90 like a lot of these silver guys. You know, they just don't. Like, it's not going to happen. You know,
I just find it hypocritical.
This whole era started recently, so we haven't even seen, like, the lifespan of these people. Like, we're going to figure that out over the next 30, 40 years. We're going to figure out, like, actually what the lifespan is. But we're already seeing now that they're, like, dying in their 30s and stuff. And yeah, it's just crazy. But sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I find it hypocritical, especially from supplement companies and other sports companies and health and nutrition companies that use these guys as their head figure.
Yeah.
They are not a picture of health and vitality. And if you tell them, do you find yourself healthy and vital? Let's go for a jog. Do you want to go for a hike? They can't.
Yeah.
How can you put that person as a picture of health and vitality and sell your supplements and think, you know, it's just, to me, it's all of these kinds of people that push that look that are to blame. And so, yeah, I don't particularly judge the bodybuilders themselves. I do have a negative opinion about these other people, supplement companies and judges, and those people that push this further and further.
Yeah, the whole industry surrounding it, yeah. No, but that's a very good point you make about how, you know, it's seen as this sort of image of health. And as you said, when you first saw these guys, you know, from like a distance, you're like, wow. And then you get up close and you start talking to them. And, you know, once you can see the finer details and, you know, it's not just on a screen, but you're like face to face with them, you realize like, man, these people are suffering, you know, like these aren't healthy people. These are sick people. You know, this is no way to live. Right. So yeah, yeah, it's sad. I agree. It's very sad for sure.
So guys, I better get off because I got to work tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Great to have you, man.
Yeah, Carlos.
Sorry?
So many good tidbits there, like just in general for life. Too,
I think this may have been, I mean, 100% not dissing any of our previous guests, but this may have been the best podcast so far. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for taking the time, Carlos, and thank you so much for everything you do, for your friendship. Appreciate it so much, brother. Thank you very much for taking the time.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me, and Aidan as well. It's been a pleasure, both of you, talking to you, both of you, and you know, I'm happy to come back whenever you guys want me on. You know, we can talk about whatever you want.
Absolutely, cool. Bro. Yeah, so Golden Era Bookworm, guys, on YouTube. Go check it out. GoldenEraBookworm.com as well. That's your website, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
you can get yourself one of these awesome T-shirts, by the way.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Or hoodies.
Great.
All right, guys.
Okay.
So I'm going to jump off.
Great. Thank you so much,
have a good
Carlos. Speak to you later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the show goes on, Aidan. We a couple more
Hit
things.
the
If Carlos finds the red button.
yeah.
Come on, Carlos.
Be right under your. If you have it full screen, it should be right under your picture. It'll say like disconnect with like the little red. Yeah.
It's the first time I use this.
No worries.
See you guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you. See you. Okay. That was really good.
Does the show go on?
Yeah, you have a little more time?
Yeah, I'm down. I was actually gonna suggest that maybe we can cut this part out where we're like kind of talking like this, but just to snip it out so I can get comfortable again.
Oh, well, it's not that bad. Come on. If someone's this far into the show,
they deserve to see my crappy. Yeah.
If someone's 1 hour 5
that was
minutes,
awesome. Yeah, he like I knew he was a cool dude, but I didn't expect all the philosophical stuff. So that was really entertaining for me because I like talking about stuff like that. So.
And he's very good on camera, you know, like he's very eloquent and.
I mean, he's like a man. You know what I mean? I'm still like, I'm not trying to say anything about you, but for myself, yeah, I still feel like, you know, I'm not like, okay, because a lot of your viewers are older guys, right? And I feel like
not
maybe
on this
they
podcast, though.
Maybe not on the podcast, but you know, there's a lot of people in like their 50s, 40s, 60s, etc. It's like I've had some people say that I come off as like douchey and cocky. I know I'm not like a fully developed grown ass man. Like I'm still working on myself. So when I hear someone like him, you know, and like he's able to give us some knowledge like that, you really see like the difference, you know, like we're still so young, and especially like our generation, we're developing slower. I feel like most people our age.
Oh, I mean, you know, you go back a couple of generations, and someone our age would have like 3 kids by now.
3 kids
like, you know,
and a farm, and like they're perfect. They're perfect. You know, it's different now, and
they'd be off at war, like fighting for freedom, right?
I'd be happy to like. How old is he? Did he say?
I
think I heard. Late 30s, early 40s,
no,
something like that?
I think late 40s, but I don't want to...
Late 40s? Yeah, so...
I don't know.
I was going to guess early 40s, late 30s, but...
Yeah.
Like, I'd be happy to be, like, a fraction of that at that age, man. Like, I got work to do. But it's, you know...
Yeah, no, he was a great guy. Excellent podcast guest. That was fantastic. Loved having him on. So, yeah, we should
definitely... That's because I wanted...
Oh, so you're cutting out for me. Aidan, it's a one-man show, folks. Aidan's gone. There he is. I'll give you guys a flex in the meantime. Keep you busy while we wait for Aidan to reconnect. I've been entertaining the people with my biceps. I think the technical difficulties continue, folks. Well, I will get into a solo topic then while we wait for Aidan to come back. So, I got a coach, and okay, let's see if Aidan's here. I can get him in on this. Aidan,
am I back?
Yeah, I think you're back. Hello.
My quality looks bad.
Yeah, I can hear you though. I think it's okay now.
All right, maybe it's just gonna take a second. You're flexing.
Yeah, I was keeping them busy.
Let me find my lighting.
I was keeping the people busy, bro. Don't worry. The topic I was getting into is that I don't know if you saw this or not on the Discord, but it's been leaked. It was a little secret project I had, but it's been leaked.
What was it?
I have a coach. So I was.
Who's your coach?
So you haven't seen? Okay.
No, I haven't. Was it today? Because I haven't been on the Discord much yet today.
It got leaked like day before yesterday on the Discord. Okay. So they
probably just kept talking. I missed it.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of messages flowing on there. But yeah, basically, you know, I was kind of feeling like down about myself. You know how I like wasn't training for so long, and felt like I just regressed a lot. And I just thought I need a kick in the ass. I need a change in my training. And so I got in touch with someone who I saw on Natural Hypertrophy's channel. And
Who is that?
Herr Soviak, Axel. Do you know him?
Oh, his name sounds familiar.
He's also a French
describe
guy.
him.
He's also a French guy, and he looks like a silverback
Can I look him
gorilla.
up?
Yeah, go for it. Herr Soviak, if you know how to spell that. HERSOV.
Give me a sec. So
HERSOVYAC. So you can check out.
Yeah, I've seen. This is who I thought it was.
Yeah, good.
That dude looks crazy, man.
Yeah, so I was watching like Natural Hypertrophy, like did a whole video about him, and he was talking about how like, oh, this guy is like the best natural bodybuilder, and like his programming is so good and whatever. And so I was checking out his website, and like he's like an actual like competitive, like high level competitive natural bodybuilder.
How old is he? Because I'm looking at these pictures. It's like he's been lifting since.
Yeah, he's been lifting for a very long time. If you see a picture
12 years?
Yeah, if you see a picture of his back, the guy looks like a freaking gorilla.
Bro, his front looks equally as impressive. That's what's insane to me.
Yeah. Basically, I got in touch with him, and I mean, my plan was
super impressive
to kind of keep it like low key and under wraps a little bit, and like just
how'd it get leaked?
Well, yeah, that's what's funny. So yeah, I was trying to like keep it low key, right, and just like try and like follow his system, get more jacked than ever before, and like just suddenly be like, here I am, I'm back, bitches. But turns out. I sent him, after the first workout of his that I did, I sent him like a progress pic, and he posted that progress pic on his Instagram story, because he didn't know who I was or that I do YouTube or anything like that. I just approached him like any other client, right?
Maybe you should have said something.
So I didn't say anything, and so he posted an Instagram story. And I don't use Instagram, but apparently, like, you can post a story and it can have like a million little dots at the top, and like you have to like flick through the photos. And so he was like talking about his whole vacation and everything. And on like the last photo out of like 50, there was like a little like screenshot of me, like, new client. And then apparently like everyone was in his DMs like, oh, you're training Natty Life, and like someone
he's like, what?
Yeah, like, who? And then someone on the Discord as well was like, Herr Soviak is training Natty Life, and like within like literally the first day, it just got leaked all over the place. So yeah, my like secret project of like just getting undercover jacked didn't work at all. And now
I mean, people are gonna see you each podcast, so if you keep making gains, and then every podcast you're just looking better and better.
Yeah, I hope so.
They'd probably suspect something. It's either a coach or roids.
So basically, my training, I feel like, has sucked. And
what's he got you doing?
So it's a whole new program. I mean, it's mostly exercises I'm already familiar with, but also some new exercises. And basically, it's just a lot more volume than what I'm used to. So,
really,
a lot. Like
what? Tell me.
So, I would be doing, for the past month, I'd be doing like literally like 3 or 4 exercises per workout, and I was working out 3 times a week. Just as I was getting back into it, right? Because I was, off for like 3 months, and then before that, like in my sort of prime or whatever, earlier this year, the most I was doing was maybe like 6 or 7 exercises per workout. This guy, he's got me doing about like 11 exercises, so like 3 sets of like 11 exercises, which for me is a lot.
So 33 sets.
Yeah.
But how many days per week is this?
4 days, so it's upper lower.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. That's just one day. Other days are like 10 exercises, I think. So anyway, it's like way more than I'm used to doing, and I'm also doing it with the timer now. So whenever I take my rests, I like put the timer on for 2 minutes, which is another thing that I'm just completely not used to, because I'm totally used to.
And he's having you do that, like, purposely?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of something, yeah, we talked about. Because I would just waste so much freaking time in the gym, man. Like, I'll be in the gym for like an hour and a half, and I've done like 3 sets of deadlifts, you know, because I just like mess around for so long. And
okay.
I don't know. I never get a pump in the gym. I'm never sweating. Like, I just noticed that I'm not really doing things the way I felt I should have. And so I thought I needed.
You still made a lot of gains,
and I did make a lot of gains.
Are you talking about your previous training too, or are you only talking about like when you came back?
So, but even before, I would be in the gym for like 4 hours, and I'd do like 6 exercises. You know, like I just excessive. Rest like 5 minutes between sets.
That's very excessive.
So like I never get a pump, bro. I hate this like focus thing. It's so annoying that it like keeps losing focus on me. But anyway,
I just think it's funny. You always go.
Yeah. It's the only way to get it focusing again. But yeah, where was I? Shit, lost my train.
I don't even do that much volume on a given day. But I do that much in a given week because I work out like 5 or 6 times a week.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to ratchet that back soon.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot more volume. I'm actually getting pumps, and like this is why like some of the recent pictures I've taken, like even though without a pump I'm not looking my best right now, like with a pump I'm like taking some of the best pictures I've ever taken. You beat
like your old unpumped physique.
Yeah, because like I never had like these like sickening pumps, and also like I would do like I do one of each like movement pattern. Like I would do 1 press or 1 pull, and now I'm doing like 4 presses or something, and then I just get like these ridiculous pumps, So yeah, I don't know, it's cool. It's something totally different, totally new. I was trying to keep it low key, but it got leaked. So yeah, you guys like hopefully gonna see like a way more jacked version of myself over the coming months, because I've really ramped up my training,
especially over the coming years, bro.
Yeah, dude. So it's nice. I feel like I'm not wasting my time in the gym anymore. I feel like I'm really working out hard. If you watch me like get up and walk around right now, I'm not going to do it because it's ridiculous, but my calves are so sore that they have never, ever been this sore before.
What do you have you do for calves?
I just did the usual thing I always do, but I haven't done calves in 3 months. And I did.
That'll do it.
I did 3 sets of like 17 calf raises with 102 kilos on my back, and it just absolutely decimated my calves. I literally cannot stand up straight right now. So yeah, and I've got like DOMs and places where I've like almost never got them, so it's nice. Yeah, that's my little training update.
That's good, bro. I think that's gonna bring like a second wave of newbie gains to you.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like what you needed to get to the next level, I think.
I think so.
Whether it was getting training from that guy specifically or just like trying something new that you haven't done yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the more volume thing, like people underestimate like more volume. They always think, oh, it's only intensity, but it's like there's all these levers to pull. You don't want to just only pull intensity every time you hit a plateau.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely. And this guy's a pro.
He knows his shit.
I feel like I can learn a lot from him, so just having him sort of on my phone and being able to talk to him, that's a great privilege. So, I hope, he can sort of guide me a little bit over the coming months, and let's see if I can not just get back to my peak from sort of earlier this year, but just sort of blast past and make a whole new set of gains, as you say, some new newbie gains. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Absolutely decimated. My entire body is destroyed, and I've got like another leg day tomorrow. Like I've got to do calves again tomorrow, and I can't even stand up straight. So I don't know. I might have to like think
that'll be interesting. No, you got to follow it to the T.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your body.
Yeah. Let's tear a calf,
Yeah, has that never happened to you?
But let's talk about your...
Wait, I want to mention one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Unless you were about to ask about that by possibility.
I was going to ask about your stuff.
My training?
Yeah.
Okay, that is what I was about to talk about.
Okay, I was going to ask you about... Okay, go ahead. I'll shut up.
All right, but hold that thought in case it's... Hold the thought in case it's something else. But I was going to briefly say I'm pretty excited. Tomorrow I'm going for a 5-plate RDL. So you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
So 5-plate RDL, I'm weighing 189.8 as of this morning. So might be able to even do that under 190 if I don't weigh in heavy tomorrow, but we'll see. Would have never thought I would get to the point where I feel confident enough to try that this quickly, especially since last bulk I peaked out at almost 197 and I still didn't get to that point. Like I RDL'd 475 for 5 at that point, and I was like, yeah, that's too hard. So I did it for 8 about a week ago, 475, and now I'm just like, you know what? I could probably RDL 495 for like 6, maybe 7 if I really, really want it. 8 again would be like unbelievable. I don't think I'll get that, but I'll just see during the set, because sometimes like something takes over my brain during a set and I want nothing more than to get the rep and like nothing else matters. So if that happens, could even get 8, but
that's
at least going to try to get 6. 5 is like a bare minimum. There's literally no way that I won't get 5. So that's like the bare minimum, but you know, my stretch goal is like 7 or 8. And then after that, I'm going to peak to max on conventional deadlift. So I'm going to go back in for a month, start like a peaking program. It's going to have me working all the way up to eventually where I'm doing a single at 565, which is my old max from a year ago. And then hopefully I'll pull 600 at the end of that at, you know, under 195, because I'm not going to gain 5 pounds in the next month. So yeah. So not even a new high body weight. And if I pull 600, you know, at the bare minimum, I'm going to at least hit a PR, because my warm-ups to 600 will be like, you know, 535, 575. That'll be a 10-pound PR. And then from there, I'm going to gauge, do I want to go 585 or 600, depending on how I feel. So if I feel good.
That's insane, dude. I mean, I don't know which one impresses me more. I think they're both equally insane, the RDL and the conventional deadlift goals. I remember when you were first doing RDLs, and like I think you were doing like 4 plates, like right out the gate.
Well, I did. Well, my first time doing it, because I never really did it the super strict, slow.
Were you doing the hamstring bias, bro?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of crap for that, and that's totally fine. Like, you know, because in a bodybuilding context, yeah, maybe the way I'm doing it is not optimal, but for me, it's fun, and I'm doing it more for my deadlift strength, right? So when my RDL, however I do it, as long as I'm not being like really stupid with it, my conventional deadlift just goes up, and it goes up faster than if I was just doing conventional deadlifts on like a program like PH3 or something like that, right? So I just go ham on the deadlifts, and then, I mean, yeah, it wasn't that long ago where I thought like 565 was like my hard limit. You know, so now I'm thinking like that's basically going to be a warm up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's
I saw a video
shit, dude.
A long time ago. This is like some secret lore. I saw a video of, I was looking up like how long will it take to deadlift 600, and this Steve Shaw video popped up, and he just so happened to have a shirt for some foundation that said like Aidan on it. And I was
really?
like, oh wow, okay,
it's
that's
a sign.
Yeah, but it was like a good cause. I'm not trying to say anything about that, but it was like spelled the same and everything. But then in the video, this is the thing. In the video, he's like, yeah, most of you will never deadlift 600. And I was like, fuck that, man. I was like, I have to do it now. And obviously I still haven't done it, so I haven't proved that video wrong yet. But like, obviously he's right. Some people will never get that. Even people that want it will never get it. But just hearing that made me want it even more, because I was like, I don't want to be the guy that heard that and went, oh shit, I can't do it. You know,
Aidan
especially
was like,
being this
Mama
close,
ain't raised no bitch.
Like, here's my logic, right? When I did the 475 for 5 RDL, my max conventional was 565, right? So now I got 475 for 8. I possibly could have had a 9th if I really wanted to, right? Like the set was not to failure. At that point, it's like, that's probably 35 pounds or so on my conventional max once I peak for it. And I did that 565 unpeaked as well. Yeah. So,
bro, it's crazy that you've been lifting for 10 years and that you're still like going for these like insane PRs and just making so
I think that's how it should be. Like all the best power lifters are people who've been lifting for a long time too. It's not like people who've been lifting for 1 year. You know what I mean? Like I remember like my favorite lifter now, SSJ Bob, he got popular doing like odd stuff, like doing like a 10-second 1,000 pound total and stuff like that. He was already strong as shit at that point. And then now, you know, like 6 or 7 years later, he blows that out of the water. Like it's not even close. And now he's like one of the best.
Wow.
So it just goes to show, I mean, it never really, really ends unless you hit some crazy injuries or something. But yeah, I don't foresee myself like slowing to a halt in my mid-20s. You know, it's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? No, especially since I'm not afraid to bulk now. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be above 205, so we'll see. I don't know if that's going to affect my deadlift leverages, but might even be able to hit like, if my deadlift continues to go up at a similar rate, at least until I hit that body weight, maybe we'll see like a 625 pull or something, you know, at like 2 something. So
insane. Yeah, absolutely.
Hope so.
Yeah, it seems like the RDLs have unlocked something in you. Like you can just
the hamstrings.
Crazy.
It's all back there.
Yeah. The one, like you, when you RDL, bro, you literally only use your hamstring. You don't use any other muscle when you RDL.
Yeah. Honestly, so I'll say this: when I RDL, my glutes don't get sore. I think my glutes are not even close to my limiting factor. The only things that get sore are my lumbar erectors, my traps, upper back, and my hamstrings. Yeah. Right. So I think my glutes are so strong that they just are not really part of the equation of if I fail or not. So that's something, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to be my limiting factor, but you know, limiting factor being the back and hamstrings, those are like the prime movers. So
yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing your progress here. Are you going to be like sharing the peak journey on YouTube?
Oh man, I probably should. Yeah.
You should.
I'm definitely gonna share the 5-plate RDL because that's like my temporary goodbye to the RDL. Just gonna see how that goes. Honestly, like however many reps I get, I'm just gonna be happy that like I attempted it and I didn't like pussy out of it.
Yeah.
Not to be vulgar, but you know.
Bro, it's crazy that you went from doing 4-plate RDLs to like 5-plate RDLs. I feel like you just started doing RDLs.
Well, I mean, so when I started last year, the first session where I like tried to go hard on them, right? And I was done learning like what I considered to be my optimal form for it. I did 365 for 8.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much just every week. I would do them once a week. Every week I would just add like 10, 15, sometimes 20 pounds. And so even up until now, it's just kind of been the same thing. Yeah, so and then I would cut, and that's the only reason I would stop progressing at that time, right? So now I've been bulking from where I was like super lean, probably like 9-10% body fat. At that point, I was only RDLing like 300 for like 8, and that was hard. I was that skinny, right? And then on this bulk, pretty much every week I've added like 10, 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Even the last time I added weight, I did 460 for 8, and that was really hard. Then I went to 475 for 8 with like an easier last rep.
Wow.
So that could have been 480 for 8, honestly.
Yeah. That's crazy stuff, dude.
So we'll see. And like I was a little lighter around that week, so I already have a little more weight to kind of
got better leverage.
Throw at it. Yeah. It's like, you know, when they say like, oh, like Reuters never learn, they just up the dose. It's like I just up the body weight, and I hope that
up the body weight, just keep adding plates.
Up the body weight, up the aggression. You know,
yeah.
Like once that stops working for me, then I'll figure stuff out. But I know I need that program to peak though, because I don't have the discipline to hold back. Yeah. I would just want to like go hard especially since with RDLs I've done one peak top set that's so hard that for the back down I literally have to go down 100 pounds.
Yeah. Shit.
I'm serious. Like my back downs are like under like 365.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, really look forward to it, man. And yeah, it would be cool if you do like some kind of little mini series for the 600-pound peak. I mean, because like just think of like the anticipation and everyone like, is he gonna get it? Is he not gonna get it? You know, like I think that could be like a really cool mini series. Like, how long is the peak? Is it like 1 month?
Yeah, it's a month.
Because you could even just do like week 1 recap, week 2. Anyway, you do whatever you want. Just my idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
So we both got some new stuff going on here. You're gonna bring a crazy physique. I'm just gonna get real fat and big and strong, hopefully.
You gotta come on the next podcast. You gotta look like Louis Simmons.
I'm just gonna come on like this. See, like bro, I've gained all this weight, and in my opinion, I still look like thin. You know what I mean? I don't have that like bulky, like thick look. At least not in like these out of context like shots, right?
Bro, you look
maybe thick. If I'm like flexing and looking in the mirror, I don't know, bro. Like I feel like I still look kind of like
you look thick
slender.
With 3 C's, not like 4 C's, but 3 C's.
Well, thank you. That I'll take it.
You'll get 4 C's once you're above 200. Then you're thick.
I can't wait, dude. Because that's a whole different feeling when you're like really peaked out, like a little above 20% body fat. Like that's a fun feeling because like the weight just does not affect you.
Yeah.
Like the weight in the gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joints are invincible. The leverages feel good. Like everything's just perfect.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I make it up to 200 pounds one of these days. What is 200? That's like 90 kilos.
So are you bulking on this?
I mean,
this program you got here.
200. That's over 90 kilos. Yeah, so that would be like a 4 or 5 kilo. Body weight PR for me. But yeah, I think in the next maybe 2 years it could be realistic for me to be 90 kilos without being like obese looking, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I did that in my 2nd or 3rd year.
Yeah.
Like I got above 200 and I didn't look like a big fat guy, you know? I just looked thick. My neck got real thick and, you know, but it's so crazy, man. Like, it's just another thing that I thought of. Like, I haven't progressed on like literally everything to a crazy extent, but like the amount of progress I've made on the RDL and the deadlift stuff, and then like the shoulder stuff, like it just makes me wonder, like, is there little things that I still haven't unlocked for like biceps, for like my chest?
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like my back, shoulders, and glutes, hamstrings, all that have just gone crazy in the past 2 years. Like I look at pictures from 2 years ago and I'm like, holy shit, I look like I didn't even lift. You know what I mean? Like I'll have to show you after the podcast, bro. There's like these specific pictures where I'm just like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like I just can't even believe that was 2 years ago. It seems like that's what I should have looked like after 1 year.
I can tell you, I definitely looked like I didn't lift 2 years ago.
Yeah, because you literally didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's crazy, dude. It's crazy, and it's like super inspirational to think that, you know, after so long, you're still like finding ways to optimize things to make like huge gains, like noticeable, visible gains on your lifts.
And the crazy thing, it's not just me. It's like it's kind of common now. You got Alpha Destiny, Bald Omni Man, all those natty powerlifters that I like to watch. I mean, everybody's making progress more than 10 years in, and it's still significant progress. It's not like, oh, I added 5 pounds to my bench. Oh, I added
you still have
10 pounds to my deadlift.
You still have these clowns that'll want to come and like spew the natty limit and all this bullshit. Like the natty limit is just when you decide that you're done and you're not going to keep pushing for more. Because like,
or the natty limit is freak injuries, which people like to say, oh, there's no such thing as a freak injury. It's like, freak injuries can happen even with perfect form, or your form is so perfect that your natty limit is you're being a pussy and you're not lifting heavy enough. At a certain point, like there's just a risk, you know, roided or not. It's way less likely if you're natural, right? But
well, a good example for the freak injury is Leroy Colbert, because he had to retire from bodybuilding because he just absolutely decimated his ankle, you know, in a motorcycle accident. He destroyed his leg. And so he couldn't train legs, and
so he went.
Yeah, so he retired from bodybuilding because obviously he couldn't get build big legs and get on stage anymore. Yeah. But what that allowed him to do is build like the biggest natural arms ever up to that point, right? So it also, catastrophic injuries maybe can also unlock other opportunities. Who knows?
Honestly, I'm thinking that might be the case with my deadlift. Not to compare myself to Leroy, because that's just not even close. But
you and Leroy, 2 peas in a pod.
yeah, 22-inch arms or whatever he had versus 17s. But it's like the whole thing of I used to be really good at squatting. Like I was like crazy at squatting, bro. I got into it for like a few months and I squatted 405 like to death at like 170 something, right? So it was a fast like gain. I could have been one of those guys probably squatting like high 500s by now. Yeah. My squat was better than my deadlift when I was like 18. But I had all these different injuries. I would mess up my calf. I would like pull my ankle. I would get tendonitis in my quads. That's my current one now. And I've just never been able to like get back to my squat progression, because every time I get too strong on squat, like too strong, it's not even that strong. It's like 315 for 10 is like my limit.
Pushing your legs on the squat, right?
Yeah, I start getting tendonitis in my left quad, and it's like it's unbearable to even squat 135 with that tendonitis, right? Even though all my other leg functions is fine. Like I do this stack for like 15 on leg extension. Right. So it's not like the quad itself is messed up. It's something about the squat movement pattern.
Yeah.
I might have to checked out one day. I don't know, because it goes away when I stop squatting, and that stuff hasn't stopped my deadlift, and even my ab injury that I had earlier this year has not halted my deadlift at all. So it's like,
how's that doing, by the way?
It's all kind of it is what it is, bro. Like I can't get it looked at right now. I don't have the means unless I want to like ask my parents to just like pay for everything for me, which I don't feel like doing that.
Sure.
I don't have the means to do anything other than maybe get an MRI. My buddy was telling me I should get an MRI to just get it checked out.
Make sure you don't.
So I think I might. Yeah, make sure it's not something like that. But I mean, I've been deadlifting like heavy weight, for my standards since it's happened, and I haven't had any like extra issues. It's just that little issue. There's like a little bit of a partial tear or something like that.
Yeah.
It just makes it difficult to do sit-ups. And I think the way I heard it was doing weighted pull-ups, so I stopped doing that as well. But now I'm still doing lat pull-downs with like, 220, 240, no problem. So it's not like that pattern was bad, but it's just maybe the balancing act of my pelvis against the weight.
Yeah.
I just can't do that anymore. But
yeah, and I guess when you're doing like a weighted pull-up, that like stretches the abs in a way that a lat pull-down
doesn't
too, right?
For sure, because your whole body's like straight like that, right? Yeah, so it's just something I feel like I'm kind of always aware of it, like if I'm getting out of bed or something like that, but it's not like, I mean, it's not that bad, obviously, if I'm telling you I'm going to RDL 500 tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's not something that like keeps me up at night anymore. It used to, because I was just like, man, is this it? Is this going to ruin me? But
is this the end?
It's made it hard to maintain abs. I don't really have abs now at this weight, like I used to, like last bulk. So they're fading out pretty quick. But I mean, who has abs sitting down too, I guess.
True.
But still, man, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm not treating it like it is.
Yeah. Do you still squat then, or like do you not squat at all?
So this is what happened. I tried to get back into squatting a couple of weeks ago. So I went for first session back. I was like, all right, 225. Whatever, it did like 10 reps. And then for a week, my adductors, like my squat adductors, I don't know, it's got a different name, but they were so sore that I couldn't even like sit down without like excruciating pain, right? But then the next week I was fine. I did like 250 for 8 or whatever. Then didn't get sore from that. Then I did 290 for like a couple sets of 5 and then a set of 9, I think. And I was like, okay, this is going up pretty quick. Week after that, 315 for 9. I was like, oh shit, okay. So maybe next session I'll be good to do like 340 for 9 or something. Because it was just going right back up to where it used to be. And then that next session I warmed up. I put just a 25 on each side. Tendonitis in my left quad. I was like, oh my God. And then I put on 225 and it was like hurting to squat 225.
Yeah.
Even though last week I was repping 315, ass to grass.
Right.
So I was like, well, I was just like, I'm not going to deal with this time. Last time I tried to push through it and I was having like pain all the time. Like it would hurt just to like push back like this against the floor. And I was like, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. So you just like sticking to like leg press and leg extensions and stuff?
I can't even really do leg press with the ab thing. That's another thing that is kind of it limits, because that movement is bad. It's just so when I go back like this, it's just compressing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's pushing against it. So the thing with deadlift is this is as bent over as I get. It's like not even 90 degrees for me because of my limb length and stuff. So I get no compression. It's isometric, so I'm not stretching and contracting it. So on the deadlift, I feel nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just numb to pain on that. So that's just the thing I'm going to, blast, and all the upper body stuff is totally fine. The isolations, I get no issues from that.
Have you thought that maybe on the deadlift
I just don't like
anything because you're just like destroying all the nerve endings in your body?
Yeah. I just don't like that some people, they go, oh, you got to get it looked at. It's like, okay, well, right now I don't have the luxury of getting surgery on it, right? So are you going to tell me I shouldn't train until I can get surgery and just let myself go until I have the funds to pay for a very expensive surgery? I'm just not going to do that. Like I'm going to train if I feel like my body is good enough to do what it can do.
I mean, if you can do,
and people act like they have like the authority to tell me like what I can and can't do with my lifting stuff. It just makes no sense. It's like, I get that you would do that if you were me, but you're not me. So I'm me. I still have to build up my funds to be able to do that. So
yeah, I
I'm
think
not just
a lot of people have this kind of mentality with injuries where they'll have like any little thing and just, oh, that's it, not training for like 2 months. Which who am I to judge someone doing that? Because, obviously glass house and all, whatever the saying is. But what I was going to say is that, whatever, you can train through injuries. I mean, there's, if you injure a certain part of your body, you just train all the other parts of your body, or you train that part of the body within a certain range of motion, or with exercises that you can do without pain.
Yeah, like this injury, when it first happened, I was like, okay, maybe this will go away, right? So I took like 2 or maybe even like 1 or 2 months off of deadlifting completely, and abs too. I didn't do abs or deadlifts or anything like that for 2 months, and it didn't go away.
Yeah.
And then when I started back up, like I found that I could do that stuff, but it just didn't feel the same, right? So I could do abs, like I could do crunches. I have to be very careful because I feel like it just doesn't feel right? And then the cable crunches where I'm on the knees and I go down, I'm doing like 70 pounds on that for 15. I used to do the stack plus a 45-pound plate plus 20-pound dumbbells. Like, I mean, I'm still able to use it. It's just not as strong, right?
Yeah. So
it still has its function. It's not like torn off the bone and it can't move. You know what I mean? So yeah, people just love to throw their 2 cents into everything. I mean, there's people that tear their hamstring and still deadlift like a couple weeks later without getting it repaired. There's people that do crazier stuff. Like my thing is it's a very slight injury. It's just something that kind of lingers there and it's not healing itself,
Yeah, so. I also get quite annoyed when you get people that just like to give unsolicited advice and just be
medical advice too. Yeah. It's like, I'm not saying you should do what I'm doing. Like if you have this injury and you don't think you should lift, then don't fucking lift, right? This is my choice.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah.
But I'm PRing on stuff that uses isometric ab contraction, like lifetime PRs. So clearly it's not.
Yeah,
if it was holding me back, it's like, oh, so if I fixed it, I'd be deadlifting like 700. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. No, I mean, happy to hear that you're smashing these PRs, bro. It's very, very inspirational, and look forward to keep seeing you do it. And yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to my own PRs. I think you're gonna start seeing some actual delta development here soon because
I'm excited, dude.
I'm starting to hit shoulders pretty hard now. Shoulders have been a weak point for me. And
your arms are probably already bigger than mine. Probably.
I actually haven't measured my arms in a long time. I'm like afraid to do it. But yeah, I'm not hitting arms very hard because obviously that's already a strong point for me. But shoulders, I'm hitting on this new program, hitting shoulders much harder than ever. I mean, I'm doing.
Oh yeah, and you showed me the AD press with the dumbbells.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've got my AD press down now with the dumbbells, and I'm doing like these front raises and like lateral raises and the rear delt stuff. Like I'm doing so many more exercises for shoulders than I ever did. So hopefully I can bring my shoulders up a bit and just get them more in line with my arms, you know? So really exciting stuff. I think for me, like, you know, you're like a freak on the deadlift and the squat and the AD press. Yeah, I think you're just like a freak all around.
I'm not a freak on the squat anymore, but
like you are like a squat freak, like overall, if you had to be.
If I had to be, and if I just didn't care about my tendonitis, I'd probably be like hitting decent numbers.
For me, the only thing that I feel like I'm like better than average at is like pull-ups,
curls,
and curls. Yeah, I feel like
you are.
That's like what I've got going for me. Everything else, I don't feel.
Yeah, didn't you do a 2-plate weighted pull-up?
Yeah, I did
like reps.
2 plates for 5 like a year ago or something.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. Like that, like you just started and you were doing that. That's crazy.
I did that like a couple months into it. So yeah, I have, and like I feel like when I'm doing pull-ups, like it's like my arms that are actually helping me do it, like more than my back. I feel like my arms just take over, and I don't know, I just for whatever reason seem to have pretty strong arms, and like I can like curl like as much as I can like overhead press and stuff. So there's definitely some imbalance there that maybe needs to be worked out a little bit. But yeah, at least I've got something going for me, you know.
Yeah, you got a lot going for you.
Well, that's about it. Well, folks, that's an hour 46. I don't know, Aidan, you got anything else for us?
Do I have anything else?
Is there anything else you wanted to throw out there before we end this?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, so hopefully...
I had a few questions for Carlos, but I didn't get, the flow of conversation didn't allow me to get to those, but that's fine.
Well, keep those questions in your pocket because we can have him on again. He said he'd be happy to come on, and I'd be very happy to bring him on. Sorry if I was steering it a bit too much.
You're good.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 9 of the Natty Talk podcast. I think this was a really cool one. I really enjoyed it, and I think we should get Carlos back on sometime, and maybe we could get Carlos with like another guest. And I keep talking about this like 2-guest podcast thing, so we gotta try and get that going one of these days. Yeah. And the next podcast is gonna be episode 10. It's gonna be double digits, bro. That's crazy. 10 podcasts. That's insane.
Yeah.
We're
getting there little by little.
Yeah. Okay, so final flex. Oh, you're so much leaner than me still, bro. God damn.
No, it's just my arms.
Yeah, it's true. You have like freakish lean arms. All right, guys, that was episode 9. Catch you next time.